everybody, and welcome to Music Real Talk with Marbin. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe. All right. Welcome to episode 45 of Music Real Talk with Marbin.
45?
45. It's been 45 weeks to slow the spread of fusion.
That's not what I'm saying, 45.
Why are you saying 45?
You know why.
I don't know why.
You know why.
I'm not sure if I do.
Who was the 45th president?
Abraham Lincoln?
No, you can't say his name.
and we will not.
And they called him the 45 all the time.
Yeah, the 45th. Very cool. So...
Great beginning.
Great beginning. Once more.
They like listening to me drink tea, right?
Yeah, that's one of the
people
features.
Was commenting.
People were commenting. It's like, can we have more slurping?
Well, it's hot.
It cools the drink. Nice.
All right.
Anyways, so you were helping. What's his face?
I don't know his name.
We don't know his name, but Terry Bozzio's son was trying to book shows in Idaho, and he contacted...
Yeah, that's my long game.
And he was trying to
I help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's not the point. I help a lot of people when they try to book tours. And it's not like I book...
No, you don't book for them. You just give him some context.
I told him... I didn't even give him context. I told him, hey, those are the places you want to play in that area. Tell him you know me.
Right.
That's it.
And yeah, but the funny thing...
you guys, by the way, if you want to write venues and tell them that you know me, go ahead.
Yeah. It's a great foot in
Win-win.
the door. Yeah. But Dani was bringing up how hilarious it, like, when you're a musician and your parents give you like nonsense advice about like
they
your
always
career.
do. They have to.
They have to, because they're your parents and they care about you. But they always like,
and they see you make no money. So.
Right. So they're like, oh, this guy, I can help him, and then they're out of their depth giving you advice about your career.
Yeah, we were just talking about it with your mom, which is like, oh, why won't you talk to Apple?
Yeah, there's an Israeli singer who was like in every Apple commercial, and then it's like, who does she know there? It's like, I don't know, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, it's the stuff. Well, it's Oprah Winfrey had a musician. Why won't you talk to somebody to get on Oprah's show?
You're great. That person wasn't so good. It wasn't as good as my child. So talk to Oprah, right? So it's always advice like that. But with Bozzio, how like if your dad was like rock famous in the 70s and 80s, and then he's giving you advice, like how infuriating! How infuriating! It's like listen, son, like just find a really famous fusion band and tour with them and stay in the 5-star hotels and have drum techs build your 300-piece drum set. Like, what don't you understand?
Yeah, people love my huge drum set, so why won't you just, you can bring that on the road.
Like, Dad, it's not the same, Dad.
Yeah, fit it on the bus.
What bus, Dad? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's pretty insane.
I would lose it.
Yeah. So right now we're actually doing this this podcast in person. We did a lot of Zoom lately, but Dani brought his saxophone microphone over, and we ran it through my Super Reverb and through my Sur, and it doesn't feed back unless you're like in Ingvar Malmsteen gain territory, which is crazy. And it's crazy. It's crazy technology. We're like, we're having Mason, the rig doctor from Vertex Effects, put together a pedal board for Dani, and finally somebody made something that works.
Not a real doctor. You have to say that.
He's not a real doctor, but he is wearing a white lab coat in the beginning of the rig doctor videos.
Really?
Yes, he thinks he's a real doctor.
How did he get
a white lab coat?
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure. I'm guessing Amazon. They probably special ordered it for this. Or he knows a scientist.
Yeah, they think call it scientist coat.
Yeah, it looks more like a scientist coat than a doctor coat. But yeah, so we're figuring out like what to do with saxophone effects, and some of them sound so good. That voice live is pretty crazy.
How annoying it is that they don't make one like it only in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's so the whole way that the industry is moving in terms of like the kinds of products that people are making for guitar is really kind of away from innovation and towards stupidity and the same shit again and again and again. Like, how many fuzz pedals do you really need?
Well, they have a voice live. They have a bunch of versions of it. They have Voice Live Extreme, Voice Live 2, Voice Live 3. We have, I don't remember other names, Voice Live Touch.
Right.
But all of them, the entire point is to have one pedal for singers that they don't have to, that gives them effect for when they sing alone.
Right. It's for singer-songwriters singing alone at a cafe and having a pedal that does background vocals for you. That's what they're
that's
thinking.
just one. That used to be the main thing.
Right.
And now it's just
The
one of
only
the
thing.
features. No, it's just one of the features. One of the things. They keep showing like loops in it or reverb and...
They're trying to make it like a multi-effect for singers.
Yeah, multi-effect for singers.
Yeah.
And then even the vocal itself, you can't... In this one, what I like about this one, that you program, it's very uncomfortable to program it, but you program...
It gives you 4 voices that behave, it reads the pitch you're putting into it, and then you can create whatever voicing you want.
Exactly.
Right? It's not like diatonic in C. So if you're playing jazz and you make yourself a patch and you have full control over the whole range of the instrument, like when it's reading, let's say, a middle C or a D flat or whatever, then you have different voicings. It could be 4th voicings. You can program in something that sounds more fusion-y, like Coltrane, or something more diatonic in a way for like an African sound, or 5ths. But even when you're doing 5ths, the guitar pedals have the same problem, like a whammy. You don't want a 5th from every interval. You want diatonic 5ths, maybe.
But
right?
you can do it here. So what I like about this one is, if I program something for C major 7, for example, C Ionian, and when I program every note, including notes that are not in the C Ionian.
Right.
So if I play C sharp, it can play a diminished chord going to
a passing chord.
Yeah.
But it requires a level of understanding not only harmony, but how you're going to use the pedal to harmonize in a given song, right?
Yeah.
Because a song that, let's say you want to comp for me behind a guitar solo in a fusion song that has changes in it, you need to actually find voicings that are going to work throughout the entire song. But it requires so much knowledge and such intention with your music that like this pedal is basically for nobody. Because no singer will use it that way.
Yeah, so the way they did it now in all the modern pedals that they did since this one, so nobody wanted to use it that way.
It's the patriarchy.
Is
the pedal patriarchy.
The pedal reads the guitar, the acoustic guitar, or the keyboard, and it just does what the keyboard does.
Yeah, it voice leads from it understands you're going from an A minor to a D7, so it's voice leading.
A minor to D7.
A minor to D7, right? Arranging some voices, not at random, but like it's just overly simplistic. And then it forces you to just be extra inside with your harmony.
No, you don't have to, because it's whatever you play on the guitar.
Right.
The vocals would follow. The problem is that I don't play guitar. I just play saxophone.
Right.
So they don't build it for people that just want to sing without an instrument. That's the entire point. But they're only making it for singer-songwriters that also play an instrument.
Right, or for somebody who you can probably hook it up to your keyboard player's keyboard and then sing through it.
Yeah, or guitar is guitar. But I'm saying something has to go through it.
Right.
Like an instrument for it to read the notes.
To analyze the harmony and come up with the voices.
Yeah, it really broke my brain because I spent a lot of time looking at it and I was like, there is no way they didn't leave the option to just program what you want, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's a very, very bizarre kind of idea, but I mean, I guess it's not surprising that they're not thinking about the fusion or jazz guy when they're making these things, because honestly, this is like the first time that you can really even amplify a saxophone in a way that doesn't absolutely suck. Like our problem, the reason we used to use the same pedal for our early albums for like breaking this up to breaking the cycle,
Well, we didn't use it in the album, but we used it on live shows, yeah.
and it sounded great. But the problem is that since Dani just had a microphone, then it wouldn't. He couldn't use it when the rest of us were playing because we would all bleed into it.
And it would freak it out, yeah.
Yeah, and it would not only make it dirty, it would also fuck with like how it's recognizing the pitch.
Yeah.
So it would actually make it not function. But you had some cool stuff. I think was it up to third set?
Yeah, third set I did the freeze pedal.
The freeze pedal.
On Culture.
Did you have any other pedals at that point?
I did, but we didn't use them on the recording because I still had the voice live.
You brought them to every show till 2014?
It was 13.
2013.
So, yeah, when Greg and John joined, I already didn't use them.
Yeah. It's fun. That whole motion between going really minimalist and going really all out is always fun. You're now that you have toys again in your life, it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
It's like because it's like potential again. It's like the options are limitless. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? You work it out. You work it into songs.
Well, yeah, exactly. I want to say you work it into songs, and it's so different that to me, at least for the show, and I'm sure until I get used to it, but at least for the show, it will have some parts of it now that are completely sonically different.
Right. This is the thing that people, I think, people who are not very flexible in their thinking, not very dynamic with life, have a very hard time with equipment and with rigs because, like for me, I don't have a real permanent way I set my sounds, right? I set my sounds, and it's always changing a little bit, but it's really our set. Like the way even like my switcher now I have a switcher that's controlling all my pedals, but the way it's laid out is to deal with situations that to have kind of workflow within the set I'm actually playing. But the moment we start, let's say, writing new music that all of a sudden I need a tremolo effect or I need a chorus or I need whatever, then I'm gladly switching everything and getting rid of a ton of stuff to just make room for this next thing that the music calls for.
Yeah, but you also, if you have a really cool sound, you're like, I'm going to figure out a way to use it.
Yeah, of course. For sure. But I'm saying that, like, I have limited... Everybody that has a rig, especially when it's like analog pedals, it's not... You can't just make a preset. You have to decide how the dials go. And a lot of people just kind of are looking for the sound. Yeah. Their sound, as if it's a static thing. And it's a real balance because it's static in a way. It's static for a while, but then it changes. Yeah. Right, so if you're what I mean by that is that if you just drop to your knees every sound check and dial everything is to like from scratch to the room, obviously you don't have time or a reason to do it, and you don't actually learn how to play the sound the way it needs to be played. But if you're just so fixed in your thinking to where like it's an unbearable thought to change your delay setting. Then you're also fucked up.
I can see why, especially on saxophone, because the big problem, and we talked about it, the big problem with saxophone effects is that you don't have anything to compare it to. So,
if you don't have like a guy that used the sound before?
Yeah, like
for distortion saxophone.
What's good distortion saxophone sound?
Right.
So the only way I look at it now is basically is this kind of awesome, and then. And if it is, we're gonna use it until we're sick of it. Basically, that's how I think about it. But I do think that it's gonna be fun, just doing it for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
And I think I also hope that it will help the show be more fun,
more colorful.
Yeah, especially for. And maybe that's also wishful thinking, just because I've been thinking about it. But maybe it will be helpful in jam band situations.
What do you mean?
Like maybe that type of audience is the audience that will like it specifically. That's what I think a little bit.
Like just crunchy sounds.
Yeah, like like different colors. Like, oh man, that's how I imagine it.
Yeah, it's
Because it does it with guitar.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a jazz audiences, to fault a lot of times. They want, how when you're a kid, sometimes, maybe when you're adult too, but I feel like for most people, I hope they'll pass that social pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is this age that stupid jokes, like you won't let yourself laugh from them,
Yeah.
because you feel like, well, I'm not a child, I'm
It's
not stupid. So it's the same thing with jazz people and pedals.
Yeah.
It's like they can't admit that. It's like
Sounds
they can't be
cool.
like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Or like a Rage Against the Machine groove. It's like, no, it's like in my mind, it's 1962. You don't understand. This is not awesome.
No, this is not cool. It's like like when you do the.
It's like, yeah, like a guy born in like 2003 is like, the Beatles ruined everything. It's like, they just invaded with their British music and really stole all of our jobs. It's like, dude, you're not of this world.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. But I get it. I mean, everybody goes through a purist phase.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. But with jam band audience, I feel like they'll be more open. They're
Right.
like, yeah, man, that's
Crunchy
crazy,
sound,
like,
man. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I do like whenever I turn. They seem the jam band people do like the envelope filters,
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. When you
it's
do that, wow, wow, wow,
like
wow,
a
wow.
Mutron and all of it's like. Bow, bow, bow. It's like if it's like growly a little bit,
Yeah.
they're like crunchy, dude. Like I always hear like an audible like ooh when you turn on a ring mod.
Yeah, the ring mode, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
But if you're in a jazz place, you kind of have to prove you can play before you open it. That's kind of how it feels.
It's very funny. It's true. When we did clinics in colleges, we'd always start with like all of me just shredding for like it could be a minute.
Yeah, when we were walking in.
Yeah, when
as
they
we
were walking in,
yeah.
we're like, this is your game. We are better at you. We're better than you at it. Now listen to us shred.
Yeah.
And it's really like that's how we thought about it. And it's childish and stupid, but also absolutely
But it also
pragmatically
worked.
correct. Like
Yeah.
they would just sit there and shut up. And if we just played African Shabtai without playing
it's
all
easy
of
to
me,
dismiss it.
dismiss.
Oh, that's not jazz.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like,
that's-
oh yeah,
that's
it's
just
like
shred.
these guys just shred. I don't want to. They're like, it sounds like fucking what is this like Jew metal? Like
Yeah, I was going to say it's a Mario Kart.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if we just because it's college, none of them can play ever, right?
That's one of the things that amazed me, because we never let, until, I don't remember one of the first time, oh my God, the first time that it happened, I just think about North Dakota when I got everybody to play and it just took forever.
Jesus.
But in Utah I already did it and it was fine.
Yeah.
Because I didn't let them have that much focus on them. But when you let,
When you
They-
let
they
college people play.
yeah, they have such a veneer. I don't have a veneer. What's the word? Like like it's
There's
not
a pretense.
Yeah, but it's not the pretense. It's just they walk around with this with their
They
nose.
posture.
Yeah.
There's jazz posturing happened up until the moment they play. They're just like because it's kind of like when it's almost like from the animal kingdom where like the young ones just imitate the way the big ones walk. That's how it feels like. They're learning how to behave like their professors, and their professors probably are not that great, but they're nowhere near their professor's
Yeah.
skill. They don't know harmony. They don't know anything. So it's like the way they like dress and the way they walk up and start taking the solo looks like a jazz player, but then they start playing and it all kind of falls apart.
And it's easy for them to dismiss you.
yes.
But once they play,
Once they play
it
after
brings-
you play.
Yeah, when we did, and the place in Utah, they wanted it, right? When I wanted to listen, and when I was talking to them, telling them a few things about their playing, and I was amazed actually how they tried to do it at the show later, because they opened for us at the show, and it was, at least they tried. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Like, but it didn't work. But at least they tried. Like I got to them, and usually I feel like in clinics I don't get to them.
Right.
And there it's like, I obviously got to them because we're all trying to do what I was talking about. Like,
Right.
we obviously can't do it because you have to practice it at home. But at least we're trying.
Yes.
So I kind of like it now that when the people are playing a little bit, I feel like it helps them be in a vulnerable place that they can
It
to
sorts
take more
out.
information
It
in.
certainly sorts out a lot of the hierarchical stuff that happens in a room. You know what I mean? Like they need to understand where you stand and where they stand for the teaching to actually take place. I mean, something that is very true is that a college versus high school, somehow, the way jazz colleges are structured, it's one of the most hostile environments for growth somehow 90% of the time. Like it really seems like nobody there is humble enough in their thinking to actually have the open mind that it takes to take something in seriously and work on it. A lot of this posturing leads to very closed off people that just dismiss everything, and really the only people they listen to are their heroes on YouTube.
Listen,
these days.
when we started playing together, I didn't like the way I played, and it was a nightmare for me. Every day was a nightmare, and I think the schools try not to make every day a nightmare to the people that go there, and that's why they do it. The problem is, if you want to get better, sometimes you have to live in that nightmare.
Right. Well, also there's the whole thing that people now are not so critical verbally of each other. It's considered some form of bullying. So what you really get is that you get a fake and indifference response unless you're one of the people who really excels.
But it is a form of bullying, because
It's
if
the
you're
worst
not
one.
good, no, and if you're not good, so yeah, in schools the only people that would get something bad said about them usually. I'm not talking behind somebody's back. I'm talking about if you have like a clinic or something, is people that are better, because he can take it because he's good. But if you're not very good, how many people can actually hear every day that they're not good? Because what can you do? It's not like you can get better in a
Right.
week
Right.
or 2 weeks, or even in 6 months. You're probably not going to be good.
Sure.
Even if you work really hard at it.
I can't put him at fault too. I'm fake as fuck when it comes. People send us some people send us stuff to listen to, like their music. Like if it's cool, I'll be the first one to be like, yeah, that's great. But if they're like I just sent you a thing, be brutally honest.
I
Like
would
I'm
never.
not gonna be
I would
brutally
never.
honest. Like what good? It's like, do you want, like, you love my music? You want me to take a shit on you? It's like, I'm not. First of all, why are you putting me in that position? But like, I would never say. I'd be like, that's cool, man. That's good. Keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and just because it's the Thomas Sowell thing, you know. It's like, when you want to help other people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you lie to them. Sometimes, you
That's
know.
not how we meant it, obviously, but yeah, that's how I took it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I never argue with anybody on Facebook. I was like, do I really want to help this person? I was like, nah.
Right. Exactly. It's exactly that. But so I get that. But I'm not getting paid to make these people better at anything. You know, it's not my job. And that's the way I see it. And with my students, when they play something terrible, I'll tell them. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah, that's different.
You know, and I won't be like, that's terrible, you suck. But I'll be like, I'll start talking about it in loops, in circles, until they really, like, from every angle, to where it's like indefensible. Like the thing you did there, it's like,
Why doesn't it work?
What
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and and just to get to that place where people understand that they have a problem in their playing that they need to spend a lot of time thinking about from a lot of angles until it's fixed by any means necessary, right? But in college, I mean, I think right now it's kind of a bummer to just be in these ensembles and play, because like after you play, you just have no honest feedback, not even from the professors, but probably from your peers. Like you just played a solo, you crashed and burned, missed all the changes, played out of tune, and everybody was like, that's cool, man.
Well, the problem is that when you play well, you can't believe anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like running through a landmine blind, because you just don't.
I'm saying it's actually kind of the opposite. So if you get some resistance, then that's why people don't understand sometimes the strike backs, like why people talk shit to us. Because if you do something well, you're gonna get some resistance.
Oh, all the time.
But I'm sure I said it on the podcast, but that's the one thing that people don't understand. I learned this lesson very young, so I never had stage fright or something like that. But people are, first thing is people are self-involved, so they really don't don't care about you.
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper thing about it, I don't know if a deeper thing, but the more statistical analysis of the situation is that people are terrible in front of other people all the time. Like if you're a person in the world that goes out to breweries or restaurants or something or coffee shops, you have seen a ton of terrible musicians, and everybody knows I have a cousin that plays, and most people, can't play. Even if you're like, oh yeah, my cousin is kind of talented, your cousin is not talented.
No.
Okay?
All of your cousins suck.
Yeah. My wife has a cousin that I think he just finished business or something in school in UCLA or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But his passion was, I don't know if breakdancing, but they think that you do with like a pop, stop and pop or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How do you call those?
It's like half robot dancing.
Yeah, it's half robot dancing.
Techno, yeah.
Yeah, it's like breakdancing without the jumping on your hands. And first of all, it was so funny because
You have to be Russian.
my wife's family always would say things like, yeah, we have a lot of artists in the family, like you, your wife and him, and it's like we're just right. So that's one thing I always thought was hilarious. And then the second thing is just when you see his videos, he was so bad at it. You know what I mean? It's like
I imagine him with the music from like that bum 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 bum
exactly.
Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah.
It looks like somebody parodying it. It's terrible.
Is he just like a Russian with those like matching like sweatpants zipper
I wish
hoodie thing?
No, I wish.
Like
but
a Puma,
he
Puma
always has
suit.
I wish. He always has a taupe though. That's how we call it.
How do they meet the other people that are into it?
Probably online.
Craigslist.
Yeah,
Craigslist. It has to be Craigslist.
And it's just awful. But I'm saying people are used to seeing people suck.
Like just embarrass themselves.
Yeah, so they don't notice it. They only notice if you're any good.
Right.
And if you're any good, people notice you, and when people notice you, some people gonna have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And and the thing that some people like most about my perfect example, the thing that people like about my playing
mm-hmm.
and about your playing, actually, this example applies to both of us perfectly. When somebody like Kurt Rosenwinkel hears it, he hates it. Everything that people like about us, he hates.
Right. We represent the things. It doesn't even that he hated, he detests it.
Yeah, everything that he hates about music and musicians, it is us.
Yes.
Which makes sense because we hate everything that he does.
That's true.
And I told you, that's the one time that I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, wait, of course he hates it.
Right.
Yeah, that's why his music is the opposite.
Well, it's as if like Alan Holdsworth is a cake, and he took like one piece of it, and we took like the rest of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like from every player he was influenced by, like he took the things that like we were like, ugh. Like,
yeah.
I would this would be really cool if if we do this to that. Yeah.
Like the one thing he said about the saxophone specifically,
mm-hmm.
which to me was the most telling because it has to do with the sound, was
he hates soprano.
He hates soprano, and he hates jazz, like all jazz.
Articulation. Yeah, sounds like 20s. Like,
he hates the Louis Armstrong like smiley, laughy jazz.
Right.
And
that's the most awesome shit to us.
Yeah,
that's the best thing about
of course
jazz.
We don't like the same stuff.
I know, but he said it in a way like in such a frou way that just is so funny because it's like what I really heard him saying was like, have you ever even been to New York? I was like, I fucking hate that place. It's like, it's like fuck you and fuck everything you like.
That's what we think.
I know.
Before he said anything to us, that's what we used to say.
I know, that whole fucking decrepit scene. Like, fuck them all. I mean, and I've always felt that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The first time I heard him in Israel, I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Before we even knew he was famous. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was famous. I remember Mehmet played to me. I was like, this sounds like
yeah, it sounds like Pat Metheny.
Like retarded Pat Metheny.
Yeah. Pat Metheny would double down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just was,
yeah.
It made sense. So I'm saying, if you do anything good some resistance. So if you don't get any resistance, you know that nobody cares.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Even though we have 0 dislikes on Messy Mark. Oh, did you see that we got, they asked us if we have a radio version for it because it's too long. I was like, sure. Radio, what would be a radio version? Just to cut a few choruses?
Yeah, just take out like 3 choruses of the guitar solo.
Would that work?
Sure. I can make it.
Can you make it? They said if you send it to them, we're going to send it to a lot of places because a lot of people have been asking.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, how long do I need to make it?
Probably 4 minutes.
It's the funniest thing is that if I do it, nobody will ever know.
Okay, do it.
Yeah.
It's from the live one.
The live one, just cut it down?
Yeah.
I could do that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it'll take me 5 minutes and it'll be the same.
Okay. We said we'll send it again.
That's hilarious. Who said that?
The Radio Direct thing.
Really?
Yeah, we said a lot of people asked because they like the music, but it's too long for radio.
Yeah, 7-8 minute songs are just...
yeah, they have to have commercials every 3 to 5 minutes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because who doesn't love commercials?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty terrible.
How could those people still get paid to be in radio? My mind is blown.
Who listens to radio anymore?
I don't. I listen to radio until my phone connects.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
It's terrible. I mean, that whole experience of like... I was actually... I didn't have like a phone plug thing in my wife's car, and I was flicking through stations, and like 7 of the stations in Chicago were like in Spanish, playing that like crazy clown music.
Oh, I like it. I had to speak Spanish yesterday for the first time.
Really?
Oh no, it's the second time.
How did it go?
I had to speak Spanish in...
You met some Spaniards?
No, I don't remember, but I had to speak Spanish in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I had to speak Spanish again yesterday.
Did you rock it?
To a point.
Did you get stuck in the conversation?
Yeah. Well, I just kept going, and I was like, "No,
I'm done.
I'm out."
Yeah, tap out. Yeah. Anyways.
Oh yeah, but radio. Yeah, I used to when I had radio, I used to listen to NPR and get mad. But before, wait, what was I just saying before the? Oh yeah, there is a song that goes, all my favorite colors. Do you know that song?
No.
The amount of time I heard that song.
It's like popular right now?
10 million songs. Yeah, 10 million times. Every time before I connect my phone, the song has to come up.
That's crazy.
On the radio.
Wow.
Oh, and also one, there's one about sing along like you know that song or something. That's another famous indie band.
I keep hearing the melody that I keep hearing every time I turn on the radio. They're really into this thing lately of like a choir sounding like they're like 3,000 people and like drums caked in reverb, like with like huge snare, and then a chorus of people singing. In Hebrew, we have a few songs that they really stole the melodies from, which I think they have Israeli producers in Hollywood making this music. But we have Na Na Banana. That's one. Imashcha Kofiko.
Okay, so Nana. They don't have a version of it, which is insane. Nana Banana is when you annoyed somebody. And now you really want to know him even more.
Right, and then you put your open palms with your fists by your ears and wave your fingers, and you go.
Na 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 na.
And they do it. It's like serious music now. You know, like it's radio.
We hear it all the time.
We hear this melody, and we also have Quaqua de la Oma, which is like just children's like nursery rhymes basically. And now they're the melodies of the top. I'm guessing it's top something, top 50, top 100.
But it's that. You know what amazing about it? You know what amazing about it?
Mm-hmm.
With Nana Banana.
Yeah.
I thought that it's objectively annoying, but maybe it's a social construct. That's what I'm actually thinking now. Because if people like it, and just to me, I hear it and I'm get annoyed.
Right.
Like I get mad, just
right. It's a nagging song. It's somebody trying to nag you as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess when you put it on like a production that evokes imagery of like a scene in Lion King, like in like Swahili kind of vibe, And then it's like...
I remember my brother playing it on the piano to annoy me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's music is taking these weird turns, and
Also, you know what's weird? That we can think about when it happened. Maybe it happened with hip hop, but I'm not sure. That we talked about it. Was it last podcast when we talked about how the venues? That I noticed how the venues changed from the dive rock bars to just acoustic.
Yeah, acoustic
duos.
Yeah.
So the music keeps live music and pop keep diverging.
Yeah, farther and farther apart. Well, I mean, hip hop is probably the most popular style on earth, I would guess.
But 99% of venues say no hip hop.
Well, what is a hip hop show? I mean, even for rappers, it's not something they do all the time. You know what I mean? Like rappers might go on tour, but there are no full-time touring rappers. Rap shows is just shows are a promotional tool for the recordings.
Well,
for a lot of bands,
yeah.
You know, now who knows? But for a lot of bands, you know, CDs and now, albums, whatever, recorded music is a way to promote their shows.
Yeah.
You know, really the shows are the point.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah, our music lives for the span of time we play it. Everything else is a hologram of the music. Like, even like I look at Messy Mark, like, that one solo I played on the album and then the other solo I played on the live are just two of many solos on that form.
Yeah.
Now, to try to explain that to somebody who's never listened to any jazz, good luck. Because it's like they don't even... that idea is like and like just so far gone now that like that music doesn't exist for the sake of its recorded form. That the song isn't the ultimate expression, or that the recording isn't the ultimate expression of the song, and that there is something to come to see. But I mean, when you're alone on stage with a microphone, singing or rapping over a track, trying to do the exact same thing you did on the record, it's true, you're not doing anything. It's like I don't understand why you would go see that. I wouldn't.
I'm trying to remember about the best hip-hop show we used to see, which is Put Some Butter on the Shit.
Yeah.
Was it like Cook Them Grits, Put Some Butter on the Shit.
Right.
Cook Them Grits,
I have to say, as pathetic as a rock show usually looks in an empty venue, there's nothing sadder than an empty hip-hop show.
Yes.
When you see people trying to like pump up the couple people trying to drink at the bar with like their kind of like, like screaming profanity at an empty room.
Yeah, but you can only get a tiny percentage of awards, but you can only understand.
Yeah, and you just hear like, like just a chain of like super aggressive, like curse words just thrown at you at random, and then the rest of it's kind of like lispy and getting lost in way too much bass. It's just an aggressive experience. Like, why is this huge guy with a gold chain screaming at me? What did I do? Right, get me the fuck out of here. Yeah.
But when you add back to the idea that when in the 90s when Nirvana was the biggest band in the world, you had a lot of garage bands playing everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But it used to be, in hair metal days, you have hair metal bands.
What's the name of that like K-pop group that's like the biggest in the world right now?
BTK.
No,
BTS.
BTS?
Blunt Torture Kill. That's a BTK killer. No, BTS is the band.
BTS.
Yeah.
Yeah. That... I heard some of that stuff.
Talking about putting butter on the shit.
I heard some of that stuff, and I mean, it was impressively just like the 90s.
Yes.
I couldn't hear any... It was kind of a combination of Linkin Park in the 90s in a way, because they have like a token rapper, but everything is in really...
genderless too.
Yeah,
that's how it feels.
Genderless, and also... like really bad English. And that's the part of their appeal, and I think that's
part of the 90s too, though, because a lot of the hit makers want American.
Yeah, it sounds like Swedish, like a Swede that writes like English words. You are hot like butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like phrases that are like grammatically not absolutely incoherent, but you would never say.
Yeah.
A lot of that going around.
Like the movie, the Eurovision movie.
Oh, with Will Ferrell?
Yeah, Cooling with My Homies.
Cooling. That was the best.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah. It's so weird, like going back to fusion, you know, seeing what massive success looks like these days, and then seeing just what we do, you know, like when you just take like a girl, like a group of girls that goes to see BTS or whatever, and just land them randomly at a fusion show, like what is going through their mind? It's like what? Like just run away? Do we sound like what? Like just like, did they not understand that this is music? Like, in what way? I just don't... Because I know what the music they like sounds like to me. But I have no idea what the music I like sounds like to them.
Well, no, because the music that they like sounds idiotic.
Yeah, but what, like...
But you understand it.
I'm always very confused about... Even, not us, but like, you know, we're aggressive and everything. But what does Miles Davis sound like to those girls?
Well, I feel like... Even if, let's say, we see us live, I think for most of them would not... I don't think we would understand what's going on. I think that people that don't have any background in instrumental music, they don't understand how what we're playing is connected to each other.
They just sound like they're not gelling together, probably.
Yeah.
Like just
like
the
drums, the
chaos.
saxophone, the guitar, like whatever we do, it doesn't sound like we're playing even the same song.
It's so, you know, even a lot of people, when we go real crazy in a C7 jam, like Red Line or Midnight Squirrel or something like that, or not Midnight Squirrel, Radio School. Just an open jam where it gets to that place where the drums are really Coltrane-y and John is just kind of improvising on the bass and the solo's really intense. They describe those parts as chaotic. But to me, like I hear where the time is and I hear it's just a C7.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, you know, like Alan Holdsworth can sound not even chaotic. It's very organized, but like out. Coltrane sounds chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's really off the bandwagon, you know, not to saying that people, they're not lost. They didn't lose their place in the form or even if it's like a modal thing in time. But any trace of the groove is kind of lost.
Yeah, but you always hear the relationship between the drums, the saxophone, the bass, and the piano, though. And I think that people legitimately can't hear. Because we got that some of the strike backs, some of the strikes. We got exactly that people just don't understand how we're playing the same song.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to explain to somebody.
We play a unison line a lot of times, and they still don't understand how it's the same song.
Yeah. Some people complain about the unison lines. I always feel like, you know, I've got that in some of the strikebacks or strikes. I always feel like, dude, if you don't like 30-second note, unison lines super tightly, we have so little in common.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's one of the most awesome shit you can do.
Everybody likes it. That's why actually videos of transcriptions are so popular, because it's cool to hear a crazy solo doubled.
Right. No, it sounds like fact. It's like it's really the difference between something that sounds like an opinion and something that sounds like it's proven.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, it's like they're both doing it.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Yeah. What was the first unison thing we came up with? Can you remember?
No, because we would do it basically from the beginning.
We did it from the beginning and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, in the Gypsy Jazz album, I think the thing that we came up with that is cool that I want to do more of is a unison that breaks up into some harmonizing, not all. Because I think like we did on Whiskey Chaser, where it's really two lines that are harmonized the whole way through, is a cool thing to do, to where it's a rhythmic unison, but it's harmonized, but it loses a little bit of the impact.
Yeah.
It's not as immediate and
just
strong.
Different.
Yeah, it's a different kind of color, but it doesn't have that thing, that laser pinpointed vibe that's really cool. But the thing they do in Bebop, I always liked, like when you listen to like even a slow head, like Now's the Time or something, that the saxophone and the trumpet break into thirds for a few notes and
Just
come
for
back.
just for a little bit.
It just makes it sound so sophisticated and cool. Yeah, I mean, you gotta stick with what you like in this music thing. I mean, I wouldn't. I keep thinking about Andreas Oberg, that guy that was very promisingly going to be like the next guy, Gypsy Jazz, and how he became. I think he writes music for that group.
Really?
Yeah, he does Kpop. That's his full gig. He
But
went for the money.
that's like the top.
Yeah,
K-pop.
well, I know he's making, like, Tommy Davy knows him, and he told me that he's doing well, and does that for a living. Could you imagine, like, just like actual you now moving to LA and just being like, "Konnichiwa, motherfuckers!" Like, I'm going to like
Ni hao.
ni hao, yeah, just like fuck this fusion thing, fuck this jazz thing, and then
But
you're
I'm
just
still
like,
a musician.
I'm just going for music for the money, and I'm now like I'm taking all the harmonic, rhythmic tools and all my saxophone knowledge, and I'm going to write
Something
K-pop.
with no saxophone.
No,
Yeah.
K-pop. Like
Yeah.
you just be like tomorrow you put on like
I'm gonna teach
a
him
suit,
the
you shave your
C to E7 because we haven't done that in a while,
right.
and it used to be a signature.
But then you actually like dress up. You go to meetings in like a nice room with like a view, and like there's a team of writers and probably like a keyboard there, and you sit there and
I
you write
just think-
K-pop. That's your life now.
And just, I just think, okay, I'm gonna give an example that might not be the best example,
Uh-huh.
because maybe that's actually easier, right?
Uh-huh.
Like if you are not gay,
Yeah.
and but you decide you want to try it out, so you need to go to a gay club and get plowed. It's like, but you don't know, like you've never done it before. You don't understand the little dance that's going on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't know how to talk to these people.
Well, if I'll get
just go there with your butt in the air.
yeah, like you don't know what's acceptable. So if I'll give it, let's say you're
Yeah,
just
we
a
have
young.
a friend that went to an orgy and didn't get laid because it was awkward.
Yeah, for example, right? Or if you see it with guys that are 20, right? Guys that are 20 that
Yeah, because you think you'll
most
show up and it will
guys-
make sense. But
most
it takes
guys
a while
by
to learn the
27
dynamic.
kind of learn how to get some.
Uh-huh.
But when they look the best and the most in shape at 20, they don't, because they don't understand the dance that's going on in
Sure.
there. And it's kind of the same thing. But I feel like if I'll go to a place like that, I will just not know. I won't know the cues. I won't know when somebody's interested. I won't know when somebody's not interested.
Right.
I won't know. I won't know how to conduct myself. That's just what I'm thinking.
I can just imagine. It's so funny to think about like how you pitch a song. You're just like standing banging chords on a keyboard. You're like, how about this idea? Hot, hot woman. Hot, hot woman. Is this working?
Do I get the monies now? Yeah, I would have no clue what a demo's supposed to sound like.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing in the world. Can we make a reality TV show? Danny goes K-pop.
Dani going to LA. Going to California.
Huh?
Going to California, like the Led Zeppelin song. It's called-
Yeah, it's gonna be called Danny Go to LA Long Time. You just like show up there like a reality TV, it picks you up from the airport.
No, it should say make love, and then the subtitle is like Dani go to LA long time.
It's so funny. Like it just follows you day to day. You just sit there at the piano like all night writing.
It's like you get rhymes like smooth and move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff like you are so smooth. You got the moves.
Yeah, perfect. I can imagine.
Do you like to dance with the groove? No, groove is not something we like in those songs.
No, not groove.
Yeah, but that's kind of stuff that we talk about.
Dude, I can imagine we're gonna get you like a head to toe like white suit and
I'm
like
so-
green shoes.
You're so hot, but
A
I'm
wig.
so cool. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're so hot. I'm so cool.
You're so hot, I'm so cool. We meet together and dance.
Back to school.
Back to school. Yeah. I'll take you back to school. Yeah, something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah,
I broke the dam.
It's definitely easy to do it. I'm just saying that's not the hard part.
Yeah.
The hard part is not taking a third, it's selling it. Selling it to the world. How can somebody please explain to me the mind control that you have to have, like the mass mind control, that you can convince people, hey, you remember how Backstreet Boys are kind of lame now because they're old and their music was kind of stupid?
Yeah.
Right? Bye. Is this Backstreet? No, it's never mind. Like nobody cares about NSYNC or whatever. Like
Oh my
now.
God, we're back again.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
whatever. Backstreet back. All
Right.
right. It's like what Backstreet. That's another funny thing. It's like tough. We're from the Backstreet. So yeah, that's not cool anymore. Like it's cool in and people like it in an ironic way, or like, oh yeah, we used to dance to it when we were
Right.
in 5th grade. But the idea of, hey, what if we make it into Korean? Like Korean guys singing the same thing, doing the same dance moves. It's like, and then you convince the world to fall for it. It's not insane to you. How did they sell it to everybody?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I just kind of saw it when it was already filling stadiums. But I'm guessing they didn't start playing little clubs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's always my point with Fusion, that we played little clubs, we played bars, dive bars for free, and we got to a point where we can fill little clubs for money.
Yeah.
So we made a huge leap in what we were doing. But I just can't imagine. I'm just thinking about them playing. I don't know. You remember when we have a PA now, but we didn't have a PA back in the day in Steamboat Springs where we played, and I just can't. And we had great shows there, and just I can't imagine. Oh, I don't know, Purple Fiddle or Carbondale, Colorado, like the places that we got kind of known immediately. I can't imagine 4
Korean dudes.
Korean dudes, like 19-year-old Korean dude or 25-year-old Korean dude, just going and dancing and singing those songs and building something out of it.
No, but I can't imagine the 4 of us, like our band, going and playing a stadium.
I can't.
Filled with screaming little Korean girls.
Oh,
You know?
American
Or
girls.
American
Don't you
girls.
remember we played in Soldier Field?
Yeah. Yeah, it was packed.
Yeah, we saw a line out the door coming back from tour.
Yeah, just like tens of thousands of people to see the
out
sensation.
the gates, not out the door.
Yeah.
There's no door.
I don't know.
It's a
The only
stadium.
way to fight them is with a North Korean band of like 4-foot people.
I really don't. I don't get it. How do you convince the world?
Yeah.
How do you get
I
people
don't know.
out of
I mean,
the house?
it's very strange looking at like this thing when people get launched to stardom. Like I don't know what it actually looks like. Like when you take a look at a guy like Billy Strings or something that 3 years ago was basically playing the same kind of circuit we were.
Yeah.
And then something happens.
But somebody like him,
it's a gradual thing.
We also, it was obvious it's going to happen. Something will happen.
Yeah. But I'm saying he has a door open into the machine, but these people are made by the machine.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
Well, Billy Strings is not playing stadiums.
No.
He's playing big shows, like huge shows.
Right.
But we also saw it on a smaller scale, and we're like, yeah, this guy has something for sure.
But go figure, these guys are basically the stars of this gain more leverage as their careers progress, but I'm sure they start with contracts that are not so lucrative.
And also, when does it stop? Because most pop stars from the 2000s...
Yeah. Even Britney Spears or something, there's a clear moment where this no longer... When the engine just locks.
Yeah, but it's just novelty.
Yeah.
And you do a show
but
in
I'm saying
Vegas.
they don't wane. Like,
But Britney Spears was the biggest one, the biggest star. So what happened to all the other ones? Like the lady we talk about, the lady that does...
Well, the way it happens for most of these people is more like an action movie star, like Van Damme. You know what I mean? They go from being a world sensation to just making like, C-lister movies with no budget. Like Britney Spears. It's literally from playing the biggest shows on earth to Vegas. Well, she's still making a lot of money.
Yeah, but she was the biggest one. I'm saying one of the people that like Vanessa Carlton. I'm trying to remember the names of people. But,
Right.
you know, it's like, where are they?
Who knows?
Well, we
Maybe
know
they're
that
making their
Afro
own
Man
podcast.
played Redline.
Yeah, that was very surprising. That because I remember when the things we saw on MTV in Israel, like Because I Got High, when Afro Man did that, to think that like a few years later we'd be like sharing a venue, was very bizarre.
Yeah, one of the worst venues that we played.
Yeah, like a total dive bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, fame is a funny thing because at the end of the day, you know, it's if you're not a part of the machine, if you're still a part of what I consider is the free market of music, which is, you know, you're interacting financially with your audience. Your audience buys tickets, buys merch, and that's how you make your living. It's not some sort of backdoor thing with private funding or public funding. You just don't know how famous people are, right? And we see it a lot. We talk about it almost every week, but, you know, guys like Wynton Marsalis or Branford Marsalis, sure, they're famous, but if they come to Chicago, they will play for 3,000 people at the CSO when they don't have to sell a single ticket. It's all soft sales. And if they go play the showcase, they maybe sell it out, maybe.
Yeah.
But even if they play a bigger room, they're good for 200 or 300 people
Tops,
in
yeah.
the same market where they can where they have the connection. They just wouldn't take that gig because they're not interested in that level of the game, which
Yeah.
is the actual free market.
Well, they
game.
can get so many of the bigger gigs. Why would they?
It makes no sense.
They
for
can
them.
work every day, I'm guessing.
Sure. Well, I mean,
Every weekend at least.
there are people who broke the system from the free. Dave Matthews, you know, people like that. They really got so big on their own and were so popular, and their shows were so fun for their audience.
Snarky Puppy too, actually. Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Wolfpack is the best example.
Right.
Corey
Wolfpack.
Wong now.
Yeah.
A bunch of people that did it on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole other level of this game for sure. It's interesting.
Yeah, I just still don't get it. But, you know, there's a difference between being famous and being able to get people out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't get how they get people out.
I don't get it either. It's so bizarre.
Maybe it's the age. Maybe it's easier to get kids out. I don't know. We won't be able to get kids out. It's not like when we play all ages venues, it's packed with kids.
It's
But
true.
they also don't know us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Very bizarre.
maybe Nickelodeon. Like how do you get people?
We just got to get Nickelodeon to just support the fusion.
Do you know Nico?
I know Nico.
I don't understand. I really don't. If somebody wants to explain it in the comments, I would be very curious
Right.
to see an intelligent explanation of how the thing is done. Like how you can get into so many people's minds and just sell them something that looks on its face
Hypnotizing. We need
ridiculous.
like Jafar's stick.
Yeah, if it looks ridiculous on its face.
Yeah. All right. I think this is enough for today. Follow us or subscribe to this podcast. Get it at your podcasting thing, wherever you get podcasts, app
Give
or
us
YouTube.
5-star. We don't have a 5-star anymore
No?
average. We have like 4.9.
People got bored. That's very sad.
But I didn't see anybody like in the reviews. We all got 5. But
Nice.
in the
There was
when
a hater in the
stars-
star
Yeah, somebody
givers.
give us less.
Okay. So, our music is at marbinmusic.bandcamp.com, facebook.com/marbinmusic. Listen to us on Spotify, I guess. We're pushing that now, which is sad.
Yeah, we gave up.
Yeah, we gave up on not pushing Spotify, so
When
we're
we
pushing
decided,
Spotify.
yeah.
And we're doing well. Up 33% this month. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you next time, and thanks for checking this out. Bye.